what's up, guys? Got another new video here for you. This is Tuned In Sports, back with another video. My name is Bryson.
I'm Bennett. Oh, sorry.
Steve and Bennett.
Hey, I'm done.
Woo! As you can tell, we're a little out of practice with this recording stuff for Tuned In Sports. But hey, you know, we're back with another video nonetheless. And as soon as I can stop calling it a reaction video, you know, that'll be the first step to trying to get this channel back on track. But anyways, nonetheless, you know, we're back. We got week 1 of the NFL season. We've had a nice, luxurious off season of not really having to, you know, worry about too much other than what crappy stuff our teams might do, and, you know, lots of hopes and dreams. And here we come up on week 1 where a lot of our dreams and hopes and possibilities for this season are getting ready to be dashed. So that way we can sit here and be miserable by the time Thanksgiving comes around. So anyways, with that being said, you know, week 1, regardless of the fact that, you know, at least for myself personally, my team is, you know, projected to be pretty crappy this year, it's always exciting to get into some football. As Dad always says, you know, the world just doesn't seem right when football's not on, and you know, even just the fan in me, regardless of liking the Eagles or whoever, just always get excited when football season starts, whether that be NFL or college. So, and especially both. So, with that being said, guys, let's hop into some biz here. We got a bunch of exciting games coming up, and let's start with the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to be taking on the Minnesota Vikings at home against the Vikings, and they are a 3-point underdog at home against Minnesota. So what are we thinking about the Bengals opener here?
Nothing new here. I mean, constantly the underdogs coming into even home games these days. You know, well, I mean, how can I deny it? It's pretty true. I mean, very often, even at home, we're not favored in these games. You know what? I mean, we got to start off the week with some nice news that Trey Waynes isn't going to be on the field for week 1. What a doozy, man.
He hasn't been on the field in over 17 weeks, I don't think.
No, he hasn't been on the field since he came on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh my God, man. That's about, like, what was the point of bringing him in? Like, God, I would just as soon freaking cut the guy or something. I mean, shoot. What is his 3-year, $42 million contract doing for us at this moment?
Nothing for you. A lot for him.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's giving him some security.
He's allowed to have.
Or I don't know if that's his exact contract, but it's somewhere near there. But
Nonetheless,
yeah. Nonetheless,
it's
it's
millions.
like it's
it's millions.
Yeah, it's just a ridiculous. For what we're seeing right now, he was not worth that contract whatsoever. So but yeah, unfortunate to see he's out. But overall, I'm actually feeling pretty good coming into this game. I think if the defense shores up, we should be able to score with them. I mean, regardless of if the defense shores up, I'm sure we can score with them, just because we got enough weapons all over the field where I don't think that should be a problem. But yeah, what I'm looking for this week is Burrow staying healthy. Does the O-line, you know, come in and look much improved? That's one thing I'm hoping for. But and I think Minnesota is a good team to really test that to start off. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how we look. It's gonna be nice having Mixon back on the field as well. You know, stud running back, just as of late hasn't been able to stay healthy. So, but yeah, as far as my prediction goes, I'm actually gonna pick the Bengals to win this one, like 30-27.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I hope it happens. I'd like to see it.
You mean to say you wouldn't mind watching Minnesota drop a game?
Yeah, no, exactly. I'd like to see it be a little, bigger point than that myself. But, no, I kind of agree with you. I think, I think the Bengals have firepower to stay in the game with them. A lot of it's going to come down to the running game. If that gets going, that'll open up things for Burrow in the passing game. I hope, I'd like to see Jamar Chase have a nice game. He needs to kind of, get things going in the right direction and start catching the ball like he's capable of doing. I'd like to see that happen for him. But I think the Bengals are one of those teams on the verge of actually being really relevant and being really good. But it's just like normal. You don't get any street cred until you actually win some games. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll happen for him.
What about prediction?
Prediction is I'd like to see. I could see the Bengals stealing one here. I could see it. I'll go with something like a 27-24. Bengals win.
Hmm.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a good start for the Bengals at home. It usually goes with Minnesota. It's going to be, however Cousins goes. So if the Bengals defense can stop Cook, that will put definitely things in their advantage. They'll see if their offensive line improvements will help. It'll be the first time with everybody starting, including Burrow, all together. So that will be pretty much the benchmark test of the day, I think, between the two teams. Mm-hmm. So I just don't trust Kirk Cousins. So I think I'm going to go with Cincinnati on this one with an upset too. I'm going to say 24-20.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got three Bengals pickers here. Now it's time for me to come in and rain on the parade. No. Honestly, I think this is going to be a very interesting game, and I think really Don took the words out of my mouth when he said, as Cousins go, that's where the Vikings will go. And I think that he's a bit inconsistent, to say the least, and it's really going to just depend on how consistent he is, because I truly believe, even though Minnesota does have a good defense, that the Bengals will be able to score as many points as the Vikings will. So, I don't see this being a blowout in either direction. I definitely don't see the Bengals getting annihilated at home for their season opener, and I think the fans are going to be going nuts with Burrow's first game back, kind of a new look on offense. Defense is a bit revitalized, so I think the fans are going to be really, really into this one, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to that. With that being said, unfortunately, I think I'm going to go with the Vikings in this one, just because I think I think that their defense, I think that we'll see what the offensive line for the Bengals looks like, but I just have a little bit more faith in the Vikings and a little bit uncertain about what the Bengals are going to look like. Like I said, I don't see it being a one-sided affair no matter who wins the game, but I'm going to go with the Vikings, unfortunately. And honestly, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if this is a very tight defensive game. It's the first game of the season. So I'm going to go in a different direction with this one and say 14-11. Actually 10. 14-10. And I'm going Minnesota. So, we'll see. And like I said, I do hope the Bengals win. So it's not like I'm rooting for Minnesota, but I don't know. I just see them coming out on top on this one. So anyways, let's move on to the next game. We've got the Broncos up next, and they are taking on the
Giants of New York.
In New York.
Yeah, in New York. Yeah, it's gonna be a big game. To see what Teddy Two Gloves does. Hopefully, should be pretty decent. There's a lot of high expectations already with the team, especially starting off at the beginning part of the season. So they have very winnable games.
Yeah.
And to get us off the carousel for a little bit, hopefully Teddy will be able to perform well. The defense is locked and loaded and ready to go. It's going to be, hopefully they minimize if he's out there. Shaq Barrett, or Barkley, I'm sorry. I was looking at the Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Old Broncos of the past, thinking of Shaq Barrett. But if Barkley is out there, see if we can contain him for a little bit on there, and if it's able to, then that puts it into Mr. number 8's hands, which is always a good cause for most teams, and that's where it needs to be. And then if he goes into pass situations, and then with that pass rush, it's going to be a long day for him because their offensive line is putrid, especially with pass defending. So I will hope Denver will perform up to the expectations and go on the road. And this is going to be kind of weird. I'm going to say 27-13. So that's scoring more than 24 points, and and like I said, the preseason they didn't give up a touchdown, so I'm gonna give them a little bit of leeway. Like, okay, they're gonna give up one, at least, that's on there. But we'll see what happens. But that's the type of thing that needs to come out of this game for them to be counted as a successful one. So
agreed.
That's my prediction.
Oh, sorry, I was falling asleep over here. Just
Yeah, now that the Bengals are over, you're tuned out sports.
I'm just playing, but
Zonked out.
As far as my thoughts on this Broncos game, I think I kind of fall in the same boat. It's going to be interesting to see how Teddy Bridgewater looks in his regular season debut as a Bronco. I actually think he's in the perfect situation to have success, so I don't see him being a problem. But you never know. It's the Broncos, and you got the carousel there, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, the defense is probably going to ball out. Giants offensive line hasn't been that great, so it's going to be pretty much what does Barkley do, and Jones is pretty much gonna, if he's forced to pass a lot, he's gonna be in for a rough day, I think, like Don said. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos on this one, and I'll probably go 24-17, something around there. That's what I would say, 24-17.
Okay. I basically, just would echo what they said. I think that the Giants, they're somebody that over the offseason, especially given the fact that I'm an Eagles fan, it seems like no matter how much I try to avoid it, I always get blasted with all the Giants news, and I see every single signing and every single release and all this other stuff, and this is the year and all this other stuff. But I got to give the Giants props. Record this because this will be one of the few times you hear me saying anything nice about that team. But I got to give the Giants props. I feel like they did a good job over the offseason addressing needs. But with that being said, I feel like they have a lot more needs than they were able to really fill. But I feel like going out and getting Galladay and getting some of these people, I feel like they made steps in the right direction. With that being said, I just think Denver is a better overall team. And, just like last year, it's going to come down to whether or not the offense can do anything because, the defense is going to at least show up. So I'm going to definitely have to go with the Broncos here. Like I said, better team in my opinion. And, I know that it's in New York, so they got that going for them, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to matter that much. So I'm going to go with, 20-12, and I'm going to say Broncos.
Yeah, that's a pretty good prediction, I think. I would agree. I think Denver's the better team here for sure. Defensively, very, very sound ball club. For the first time, they got everybody pretty much healthy. So I'm looking forward to seeing a pretty dominating performance on the defensive side of the ball. But along with that, Bridgewater being there, I think is going to just is not going to put the defense in a bad position. I don't think he's going to make the wrong plays. And they've got enough weapons where they'll be able to score some points as well. I see this game probably like a 24-10 finish myself. Broncos win, look good doing it. Giants, it's just going to be another long season in my opinion for them. I mean, I think they're probably going to be better than they were last season for sure. But I still think they got some issues. And Galladay being there is a nice thing for them, but it's only good if he's healthy. I don't even think he's necessarily in great shape in week 1. I know he's been on the IR or whatever. He hasn't played much, hasn't done much in preseason at all. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I look for the Broncos to have a strong showing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like I said, I feel like the Giants, they did some things over the offseason that I like, oh man, I wish that was my team, because, a lot of the time I was watching the Giants and these other teams in Washington make all these moves while the Eagles were in the news, about releasing players. So, but nonetheless, I don't think that they're there yet. So I think Broncos. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the Eagles, since we're, talking about crappy teams. Let's go ahead and move into their game. They have a road game against the Atlanta Falcons, which is, and they're 3-point underdogs in that contest. And so, yeah, as far as this game goes, it's kind of a weird thing, to be honest, because I think a lot of people last season expected Atlanta to be better and they struggled. And I think a lot of people expected the Eagles to be better. Some people were talking about Super Bowls and crap like that, which I never bought into that stuff. But, I did expect the Eagles to be better last season, and they were kind of a disappointment. So, really, I think that this game is going to be just very interesting. I mean, we'll see kind of who bounces back and who's kind of still stuck in the same patterns. And to be honest with you, I mean, whichever team wins this doesn't necessarily mean that they've righted the ship. The Eagles could win this game and, turn around and have a four-win season like most of the experts and stuff are predicting. So we'll see what happens. The game's taking place in Atlanta, which, that's, I'm sure the fans are going to be going crazy in there, and Chick-fil-A is going to be closed, but, that'll probably just add to the intensity of the game. As far as my prediction for the game, I think the Eagles, I think it's really important that we show up and play a good brand of football, don't look like a bunch of chickens with our heads cut off running around the field. Over the offseason, I kind of like some of the things that we did, bringing in that guy Ryan Kerrigan from Washington and a couple of other moves, but on the whole, I kind of felt like we really didn't do much. I think it was just kind of like we're making all these changes at the head coach and this and that and the other thing, so just more of a transition year. So I honestly don't expect to see too much different than what we saw last year. So with that being said, I think Atlanta's going to end up winning this game. And honestly, obviously being a fan, I'm not going to be excited about us losing, but being realistic, if I see them playing good and competitively and we lose the game, I might be upset, but we're not supposed to be very good this year. So like I said, I just want to see a good game out of them, come out looking like they're trying to get better and on the right path. With that being said, I'm going to say Atlanta 28, Philadelphia 23. And I'm taking the Falcons for this matchup.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna take the it's supposed to be birds of lane instead of birds of prey. But this one I don't know. I mean this is complete like left field, and I don't know what to expect. We've got systems coming in that are gonna be new on the road, and then we got the Falcons that are just the Falcons, right?
Yeah.
Got some new toys, but then they lost Julio Jones. So who knows what Atlanta's going to do? So to me, it's just a total crapshoot.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect from this game.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm going to go 9-6 Falcons.
Yeah, this is.
It'd be nice if we could go ahead and keep the trend going and not get past 17 again this year.
Well, yeah, like I said, I don't know what to expect from the system.
We could get the 6, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to
got
say.
9-6. So.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm interested to see, like, I fully expect, I think the Falcons are probably going to win, but I'm interested to see, like, how well the Sirianni guy comes in and does in his first game, like, in terms of, like, clock management and stuff like that. I think the Eagles will be in it, but for whatever reason, I just think that the Falcons are, like, maybe, I wouldn't necessarily say farther along, but just, I don't know. It's kind of like what they were saying. It's kind of hard to place a, prediction on this because I really don't know what either of these teams are really going to look like. So, but I'm interested to see what Kyle Pitts looks like in his first game. That should be pretty interesting. If he comes out and has a good game, I think definitely the Falcons should pull this one out at home. But you know what? You never know with never know.
You never know what the system's in.
Yeah, never know what the system's. So, but yeah, in terms of my prediction, I'm gonna go 30 Falcons, 17 Eagles.
Oh, I made it to 17, not past it though. Your turn.
Yeah, well, I'll have a little more optimistic look towards the Eagles on this one. And it's not that I think that either team is much better than the other, but I would think myself that from what I saw from Hurts last year and everything, I think he's finally got the vote of confidence that he's the starter there. I think the Eagles have enough weapons that they should be able to win this game. The Falcons are, I don't know what their identity is going to be. Pitts, I think, is probably going to be their go-to guy. And he's, quote-unquote, playing the tight end position, but, he's not really a tight end. He's more of a wide receiver than he is anything. So I don't know. I don't see him doing a whole lot of blocking, let's put it that way. I think you're going to see a whole lot of, 4 and 5 wide out sets basically with him in it. So, but I think the Eagles, I got a little chip on their shoulder. They're going to play the underdog role this year, which is going to be good.
Do.
It could be a good thing for them. Nobody's expecting them to do much, but the people on that team are not that far removed from, being playoffs. So I don't think they're as bad as maybe what, the media seems to want to make them. So I think, the Eagles were in a lot of games last year, lost some tight ones because the coach was coaching to win. And this year I just think that they're going to right some of those wrongs. I don't know what to expect out of Sirianni, but I don't think that. I think he's going to be a smart enough coach to be able to get some wins out of this team, and I think this is going to be the first one. That's what my prediction. My prediction for the game is Eagles 24-20.
Okay.
In a tight game.
Okay. Yeah, real quickly before we get into the Lions, though, I did want to just comment on that, like what you're talking about, because, all the things that I was reading is like there was one thing, I think it was USA Today or something like that, and a couple, or ESPN something or other, I don't remember, but, they were projecting that the Eagles are going to be a 3-win team this year, and I mean, honestly, if you ask my opinion, I think that's a load of horse crap. I know that we weren't very good last year and we were supposed to be better, but hell, we tied one team, and a lot of those games we lost in the closing seconds. It's not like we got blown out every week. As a matter of fact, I think we only lost 2 games by more than single digits. So, I feel like, as much as I want to crap on Doug Peterson and, just as many times as I lost my cool on this channel last season, overall we played competitive football. So, the fact that they're only giving us 3 wins on the year, in my opinion, we could get that just in the division alone. And that's not including when we start playing teams, outside like the Falcons. In my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if we get 3 wins in the division and then even just this win against the Falcons week 1 and boom, we already got 4. So, I think that 3-win thing was a bit of a, I don't know. I think that was a bit of lowballing them. Like I said, I'm not expecting Super Bowl or anything, but 3 wins? Come on. I feel like the Eagles are better than that. So
no, that's Bengals standards.
That's kind of where the Lions are at, and and to be, I'm just saying though, when you look at
get thrown under the bus over here.
Well, listen, I'm sorry to say, but if you are putting the Eagles on the same standard as the Lions in terms of where, how good they are, I honestly think that the Eagles are an overall better team. But they're projected the same number of wins as the Lions.
But it said this was ESPN, right?
Yeah.
So it's New York. It's New York. So what are you gonna say, right? Your rival's New York, right? The Giants and the Eagles, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think they're gonna do? They're just gonna dump on you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, I think, what happened. It got published.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. I'm not taking it as the word of God or anything, but I'm just saying. That kind of projection. We literally were projected to have the same number of wins as the Lions, and in my opinion, I think that we're a better team than the Lions right now. And like I said, the Lions are in a different spot than we are. They've got a lot of changes and new quarterbacks, new coordinators, new coaches, new everything.
We like time.
Yeah, exactly. So, the fact that they're not projected to do much doesn't really surprise me, but, given how good that the Eagles played in a lot of their games last year, I just think 3 wins is kind of like a big fat turd in the middle of the Eagle. So, whatever though, that's enough about that. Like he said, it's, coming out of New York, and they're not, especially after the way we, crapped all over their playoff chances last year, I'm sure that we're not going to be, this is going to be a 10-win team. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, let's move on to the aforementioned Lions, because like I said, it doesn't matter. But good luck to the Eagles on Sunday. I really do hope they win, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Either way, like Don said, just what on earth is there to think about the game? You're looking at 2 teams that I don't have any idea what kind of expectations to have for them, and they're playing each other week 1, so it's like, wow. Anyways, let's move on to the Lions, who have a game at home, against the San Francisco 49ers coming to town. And I think Garoppolo is starting, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are we thinking about the Lions opening weekend?
Definitely couldn't have chosen a much worse opponent to have to face for the Lions than to have to face, a well-oiled machine like the Niners. You can say what you want about Garoppolo, but when he's healthy, he does the job. And I saw a stat today, he's 3-0 against Jared Goff every time he's played him. That doesn't say much. That doesn't really mean much as far as Garoppolo's play, but it just means that the defense has had Jared Goff's number when they played him. Mm-hmm. So they probably have a pretty good idea of what's coming, would be my guess. No, I don't put a lot of stock into BSPN, As far as what their rankings are or whatever, I could give a shit less. The Lions are, like Bennett said, I mean,
Yes.
it's a very similar situation. We're pretty much underdogs no matter who we play. And it's going to be that way all season long, most likely, unless we're able to get a few wins and turn things around. I got this team, Lions probably winning 4 games this year, is what I'm thinking, 4 to 5.
I think that's
But,
fair.
What I'm interested to see more so than how many wins we get is how they look doing it. Like, are we in games or are we just getting, are we getting just beat down? Because if we're in games and we're losing tight games and whatever, we're going to get better as the season progresses to where we're going to steal a couple of games here and there. And I like I said, I see 4 to 5 wins, and I think, I think the organization as a whole is going in the right direction here. At least I'm hopeful that it is. It seems like they've made a lot of nice moves. I love the coaching staff, the additions they've made there. But like Bryson said, I mean, there's new everything everywhere. There's very few people on the coaching staff. As a matter of fact, I think there was only one coach, I think, that survived from the turnaround.
What was he, special teams or something?
Yeah, he was, I think, special teams maybe, or maybe he was a strengthening coach, I think. So
okay.
I don't even know if he was actually something to do with the field stuff, but doesn't matter. My point is like you said, it's new people everywhere you look. But with that also is, new mindset, new culture. Seems like the ownership has made some changes in the way they approach it. It's nice to see Sheila Hempford. She's at most of the practices. She's included in, a lot of the stuff that's going on where I think previous ownership kind of was just like, well, whatever, you do your thing. And I think she's kind of taken a proactive approach to trying to make sure that this team heads in the right direction. And I, for one, ain't going to falter for that because, Lord knows we've seen enough of the other approach. But prediction for this game, I see the Lions probably losing by 10. I could see like a 30 to 20 game, something like that. I think defensively, the Lions are going to be better than they were last year. I think scheme-wise, I like, I think they're gonna be bringing a lot more pressure than they have in the past, and I don't think it's all gonna be because of blitzing. I just think they got some decent outside rushers now. Aquara and some of these guys look like they are making some strides and playing pretty well. Even in the preseason, they were getting in the backfield with these teams. Now I realize, I ain't looking at who's out there in the fourth quarter or any of that. I'm talking about at the beginning of the game, where you got ones out there, or no worse than twos, playing. And that's all I can really go on is what I saw when I watched those particular teams play. And it looked like the Lions defensively looked pretty decent. So if they can somehow manage to keep that going, we could be in a tighter game than what I'm thinking even. Because there's going to be a lot of optimism, and this is the first time crowds have been in the building, and who knows when. It's going to be interesting to see how people act, how many people show up with bags on their heads in the first week. That'll probably wait a few weeks before that starts happening. But anyway, overall, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. I don't expect a victory, but I expect them to, be in the game. Like I said, ultimately I think they lose by 10 at home.
Okay.
Yeah, should be interesting to see. 49ers, unfortunately they probably would have been contenders last year if it weren't for the injuries they suffered. But you know what? I feel like this is definitely not the team that Detroit wanted to face in the first week. Like Dad was saying, you're getting a fully, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're pretty much fully healthy coming into week 1, right? The Niners are, so, you know, they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder, getting back to the, you know, working to get back to where they left off, you know, getting to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So, unfortunately, I mean, if I just feel like the Lions ran into a tough situation with this one. But yeah, as far as my prediction goes, I would say probably like 24-13.
Lions?
No. Niners. I just see it being a really tough game. So
This is the first of, you know, one of 18 in a row they're going to win.
yeah. So, but
This will be the first time you hear a tough game for the Lions this season.
I mean, if I'm wrong, then that's cool. Like, but like that's cool for Dad. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if I see this being a close game, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, with this one, yeah, bad draw in the first game. I think San Francisco is actually going to be fully loaded. Bosa's back, so you know he's going to wreak havoc, especially with the new team, new systems there as well. I totally see this as kind of like an Alabama SEC game, where you know team's going to be motivated, fired up, rah, and then it's going to be you know depth's going to eventually just wear out. I think on the other side, and then they're just gonna pull away with it. But I think they'll be game for a little bit. But I just think too many weapons out there with the 49ers. You know, being full strength with the first week, right? And then Detroit again, just trying to get their identity. I know they're going to be a lot tougher than Bluto's team that was there last year. So I see him being a little bit more, like you said, feisty and comparative. You know, as the coach has shown toughness just by his presence, which I think is good. But like I said, I think it's just going to be too much. I think for the San Francisco, because they are, you know, going to be, I think, in one of the upper echelon teams going into this year with it, and then also with them having familiarity with Goff's tendencies with the Rams. You know, from them, I think they're, you know, if they do certain things, he's going to do certain things, a way to handle it, and then I think they're going to predict that they know going through. So I'm gonna say 38-13 49ers.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, I honestly see it the exact same way as Don does, more so than the others. I think honestly we could, well, a couple of things. First of all, I see partially what's going to be happening here is a Denver Broncos situation where I think that the Lions offense is going to struggle against the really, really good 49ers defense, and eventually the defense for Detroit is just going to get worn out, for one, and that's without anything. For two, I think that the 49ers are going to be coming in here thinking that they were robbed last season as a result of all the injuries and stuff, and I think that they're coming out here looking to make a statement and remind everybody that 2 years ago they were in the Super Bowl, and they were not just there by accident. I mean, they absolutely plowed the Packers in the NFC West, or not NFC West, but you know what I mean, the championship game. So, you know, I think that the 49ers are a team to be reckoned with, on top of the fact that you add in all the off-season controversy with Garoppolo and stuff like that. I think he's going to be coming into this game saying, oh, okay, you guys think that, you know, we're just going to move on to Trey Lance here and I'm just going to roll over. I'm going to show you what I'm capable of, and I think he's going to come out here looking to have a serious game here. And so as a result of that, I think he's going to come out, you know, guns ready to go. And on top of the fact that I think that the 49ers, like he said, are a much deeper, much better team overall. So with all that being said, I honestly think that the Lions are going to have their work cut out for them, and that's even just at the beginning of the game. I mean, sorry to say, but I think this one could get ugly. But with that being said, like we talked about, I think that this coach has the Lions, at least from what we've seen, it seems like he has the Lions in a much better place than they have been in a while. So with that being said, I'm going to give them a little bit more than I otherwise would. But even with that being said, I'm going to say 35-10. Like I said, above all else, I just think it's the wrong opponent. I mean, and like I said, I would be saying this no matter who San Francisco is playing against. I'm not saying that every team they played against would be getting creamed, but I'm just saying no matter who San Francisco played against, I think that they'd have their work cut out for them this week, because I think they're coming out looking to make a statement and remind people, hey, we haven't gone away. We're still here. So.
And we'd like to thank Bryson for joining us on the show today. This will be his last appearance.
Yeah, we didn't even make it. I didn't even make it to week 2 this year, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. And, but yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I'm just being honest. That's the way I see it. I really think that as much positive as I have to say against the Lions or about the Lions, I just think that the 49ers is just a horrible draw for week 1. And with all the uncertainties and all the coaching changes and all the new players and all the new this, that, and the other thing, and on top of that, I'm not sold on their wide receiving core. And I mean, Hawkinson is going to do what he does, but I think honestly, if they can't get a run game going, which has been a struggle for them in the past, I think that they're just going to, figure out a way to take Hawkinson out of the game the best that they can, whether that be double teams or whatever. And then I just think that the Lions are going to struggle on offense. And like I said, I totally see this being a Denver Broncos situation where even if the defense is game, they just get worn out because the offense is struggling. And like they said too, you add on top of everything that I just said, the fact that they're familiar with Goff. They are familiar with his tendencies. They know what he likes to do, what he doesn't like to do, and they know how to strategize against him. And, I'm not saying that the Lions are going to implement the exact same offense that the Rams do, but, when you got a whole new coaching staff and everything like that, and you're bringing in a brand new quarterback, you're going to tailor some of what you do to his strengths. And so as a result, I think it's not going to look too completely different from what the Rams were doing with him. So, yeah, I don't know. I just see this being a tough game for the Lions, unfortunately. But hopefully I'm wrong. I mean, I'd be the first one to jump up and down and be excited if we sat down here Sunday night and the Lions were victorious in their game. I would be super, super excited. I hope so, but unfortunately, I think much like the Eagles and some of these other teams, we might be sitting here disappointed at the end of the week 1 like normal. So, anyways, but thank you guys for watching this video. If you like the content, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment. What do you guys think about these games? Are they going to be close? Are they going to be blowouts? Who's your favorite team? Who are they playing? Are they going to get blown out? How bad are they going to suck this year? Drop it down in the comments, and we'll get back to it as soon as we can. And with that being said, make sure you guys stay tuned for more content on this channel. We're going to try to, keep it up with getting reviews at least, and hopefully previews. Previews are a little bit iffy because, during the weekdays we all are busy, got stuff going on. So previews will be a little bit difficult. However, we're going to try to, stay on top of the reviews for you guys so you can still hear us, hot and bothered over these games and, ready to blow a gasket and just for you folks out there on YouTube. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. I'm Bryson.
I'm Bennett.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Don.
See you guys in the next video.